Welcome to European Railway issue number 50, the DVD magazine for the continental enthusiast. In this special two-part programme, we visit northern France to look at mainline diesel operations on the coastal route up to Boulogne, as well as a popular metre-gauge preserve line at St.Valery. Journey to Switzerland to study mainline and metre-gauge operations to the north of Bern. In addition, we follow one of the special trains organised in conjunction with the BLS Centenary celebrations. A visit to eastern Germany as we look at the main line to the east of Leipzig, new electric units at work to the south of Cottbus, and a study of trains along the Berlin Außenring. We travel to Belgium to look at the freight line from Moresnet Viaduct, then across the river Meuse to where it meets the passenger line from Liège to Tongeren. Journey is made to Austria to look at operations on the single track line from Graz on the route to St. Gotthard in Hungary. The final section comes from near Hannover, as we study two locations with very high traffic levels and a wide variety of motive power. We begin in northern France with a look at mainline diesel operations on the route between Amiens and Boulogne, as well as operations on the preserved Chemin fer de la Beie de Somme. The main area of our filming is situated close to the large town of Abbeville, with the narrow gauge steam line operating out of St.Valery ville. We are on the main line south of Abbeville, at the town of Longpré-les-Croissants, as BB 67604 heads south with the 0704 from Boulogne to Paris on the 13th of July 2013. the opposite direction comes BB 67455 with the 0824 from Amiens. This is the station at Noyelles-sur-Somme, which is the junction with the preserved narrow gauge line and the main route between Abbeville and Boulogne. Representing the more modern side of the motive power scene in the area is this 3-section Z76-500 diesel unit, number 76546. The unit is seen with a stopping service for Amiens. As already mentioned, the preserved Chemin de fer de la Beie de Somme joins here. Seen arriving at the station on the morning of Saturday the 13th of July is ex-SNCF railcar number 212, with the second service of the day from St.Valery sur Somme. Number 212 came to the railway from the ex-SNCF operated Chemin de fer du Blanc-Argent, where it was one of 4 units operating on the line. Prior to that, the unit came from the P.O. Corretz system in 1967. This was one of the first trains of the day on the line, and as such passenger numbers were few, with most customers opting for the steam-hauled trains later on in the morning. With the 10:15 AM departure time fast approaching, the driver broke off his conversation with a local fish merchant, whilst the guard checked his timepiece and put away the steps. With power restored, the guard sounds the all clear. Now, we're not sure what happened next, but it could be a common operating practice carried out each day and mixed with a touch of laziness, or the wrong route had been set for the departure back to St.Valery. In any event, the train stopped and reversed back into the station to allow the guard to reset the point work for the arrival of the next train later that morning. We'll let you make up your own mind as to whether this was a deliberate move or a mere oversight. The line from Noyelles to St.Valery is dual gauge, with the metre gauge rails laid between the standard gauge rails. The line out to Le Crotoy is metre gauge throughout. Filmed on a rather blustery 26th of June 2013, locomotive number 1, built by Louvet in 1906, heads northwest out of Noyelles. Back to the 13th of July, and diesel railcar number X212 has successfully made it to the canal bridge which takes the line into the port of St.Valery sur Somme. This joint road and rail bridge is a vital piece of the railway's operations. Note the Citroën 2CV in the background, a vehicle that will make more than just one appearance in this section. It's time for the 2CV again, as we look down to St.Valery Ville station, as another one of the line's preserved steam locomotives awaits its next turn of duty. There's just enough time for one last photo before the train moves forward along the tramway to the town's quayside station. Initially, a standard gauge line was built the 5.6 kilometres from Noyelles to reach the town's quayside station. The line opened to traffic on the 5th of June 1858. In the late 1880s, a number of new metre-gauge lines were built in the area, one from Noyelles to Le Crotoy and the other from Noyelles to Quay, which was laid in between the standard gauge rails to St.Valery. The line remains dual gauge to this day, and is still used on gala weekends, when standard gauge locomotives pay a visit. SNCF used the branch to carry freight traffic until this finished in February 1989. The line was finally closed to traffic on the 1st of January 1993. The locomotive is an 062 tank built by Beie in 1909 and is seen turning ready to haul the 11 o'clock departure for Les Croatois. Noyelles is where the two halves of the preserve line meet, and it is famous for the near joint arrival and departure of trains working on the line. Arriving with the 11 a.m. from Le Crotoy are number 2 and number 1. The leading locomotive was built in 1889 and saw service at the Panama Canal. It has also worked in Puerto Rico, as well as being an exhibit at the Henry Ford Museum and Traverse City in Michigan. Today it is the oldest locomotive at work on the line. After the turning of the locomotives and once run-round manoeuvres are completed, the crews prepare themselves for the joint 11:45 departures. On the main line we see number 67606 calling with the 12 o'clock service for Boulogne. Our final few sequences show the main line just north of Noyelles, at Roux, as 67616 heads north with the 1521 from Amiens on Sunday the 23rd of June 2013. Finally, in the opposite direction, it is the turn of 67455 to power the 1504 service from Boulogne to Paris. In this section of the programme, we move to Bern in Switzerland to cover the main line that leaves the city to the north. We also take a look at some of the special workings associated with the centenary of the BLS, which is being held this year. We follow a positioning run from Hauteville with further scenes to the south of Spitz. We begin not far from Zollikofen station, after which we head north to cover late evening traffic through the station at Hindelbank. A convenient overbridge just south of Zollikofen provides the vantage point, where good views can be had of the old classic main line from Bern to Boerdorf and the metre-gauge Regionalverkehr Bern-Solothurn, or RBS for short, which provides S-Bahn services to the north of the city. The RBS operate frequent services on their line north of the city. This train is formed of a pair of new RABE 412 units as it heads for Bern. The BLS operates the majority of local services in and around the city. Line S3 is an S-Bahn service linking Bern with BL and is frequented by Class 565 units, such as set number 727 seen here. The RBS also operate a fleet of 11 Class ABE 412 three-car units on services to and from Solothurn. The units were delivered in 1992 and 1993. Another class operated by RBS is the BE48 and BE412. These were delivered as two-car units from 2001, with some later receiving an additional low-floor coach to make them into three-car formations. The two variants are seen here, with numbers 43 and 53. RE44 number 11368 drifts up the grade. What we think is unit number 36 in all-over advertising livery heads number 9 on a line S44 service from Abbeville. Dropping down the grade are SBB RE44s, numbers 11269 and 11270. They are passed in the opposite direction by 1972 vintage BLS RE44 number 180. Single horsepower traction is seen here as a local enjoys the late evening weather with a jaunt out with his miniature horse. BLS has recently taken delivery of the first of 28 new double-deck electric multiple units. Designated as Class RABE 515, they were built by Stadler from 2012 and are again designed to work Bern S-Bahn services. Set number 2 is seen here. You'll notice that the left-hand line is dual gauge. This allows standard gauge freight trains to reach a factory at nearby Dijsville. We now move north and to the station at Hindelbank, as XRM Class 566 second generation unit, number 238, arrives with a stopping service from Boerdorf. Heading north a few moments later is 11332. All of these and our burn scenes were filmed on Thursday the 27th of June 2013. There's an interesting mixture of vehicles in this empty coaching stock movement, headed by 11151. A bit of late evening sun lights up 460049, seen on the rear of this Zurich to Bern intercity service. There were 6 freight trains seen in the 70 minutes that we were here. This one is hauled by 485005 and 486509. Interestingly, a number of intermodal services were seen operating on the nearby high-speed line, built between Bern and Olten. S44 line services also operate this way and are worked by Class 525 units, which entered traffic in 1998 and 1999, with a further batch coming on stream between 2003 and 2006. The centenary of the BLS mainline over the Kandersteg summit is being celebrated with various events being staged throughout 2013. One event over the weekend of the 29th and 30th of June focused on the North Ramp and was based around Frutigen. In connection with the event, a number of historic locomotives took part, and it was early on the morning of the 29th of June that we travelled to Jutville to witness one such loco that was taking part. The depot at Jutville is home to a number of historic pieces of rolling stock, from steam locomotives to veteran electric locos, such as ex-BLS TE23 number 31. The locomotive was scheduled to make a guest appearance at Frutigen and worked a public charter from here at Jutville, departing at 0648. The train left on the single track line up to Langenthal, where it ran around its coach. We are now just south of Reitville on the main line to Boerdorf as the weather begins to close in. At just before 8:15, the train pulls into Hasle Ruhigsaal, around 10 minutes early. Here the train is seen shortly after leaving Gross Hoestetten. Our final scene is south of Spiez, on the hills above the station at Reichenbach. Preserved AE68 electric locomotive number 205 is seen working a train from Bern. This was another special working associated with the centenary event. The summer timetable alterations brought about a series of changes to traction around the Berlin area. These, as well as happenings across other parts of the former East, are looked at as we travel to Germany. A surprisingly busy stretch of line is the route between Riza, then to the south of Dahlen, through Küren to Wurzen and onwards to Leipzig. In the first part of this section, we travel to the area around the close station at Dorn-Reichenbach. The date is Saturday the 6th of July, and the time is just before 6:30 in the evening, as 182023 brings up the rear of the 1717 from Dresden to Leipzig, seen just to the east of the old Dorn-Reichenbach station. New Class 442 units are now well established on many lines in the former East. This one is working the 1803 from Leipzig to Dresden. Following along behind is Czech electric locomotive number 372013 on a freight bound for Praha. We now move closer to Küren and a road bridge just west of the Dorn-Reichenbach station. Heading east is the 1423 ICE service from Wiesbaden to Dresden. The train is soon to be passed by a pair of Class 442 units, one a 3-car, the other a 5-car formation. It seems an awful waste of resources for such a powerful locomotive type, but the 6.4 megawatt Taurus electrics belonging to DB are now used on rather less than demanding regional services such as this. Number 182023 heads back to Dresden. We were fortunate enough to capture 139554 in superb evening sunlight as it heads west with a train from Dresden. We continue with our journey around the east of Germany now, as we look at 3 locations to the south and southwest of Cottbus. We begin at Valkenburg, as 185237 heads south early on the morning of Sunday the 7th of July. The location is on the road bridge just north of the station. There is also a small railway museum here, with 525679 as one of the static exhibits. Moving southeast, and we are at Ziedlitz Ost station, just north of St.Valery, as a 5-car Class 442 Talent 2 electric multiple unit arrives with a service for Berlin. These units have recently ousted the Class 143 electrics, which previously worked these services and services to Valkenburg. Not all trains in the area had gone over to the new units when we filmed on the 7th of July. The old order in the shape of 143849 brings up the rear of this northbound train. We move north once more to the station at Lüben, on the line from Cottbus to Berlin. Heading a train for St.Valery is unit number 442326. Again, this was until recently a Class 143 turn. private passenger operator ODEG have been operating trains in the Berlin area since 2002. Until the 25th of May they had been hiring DB Class 114 locos to work services between Cottbus and Wismar. But this situation finished when enough of the new Class 445 double-deck KISS units from Stadler had been delivered. This is set number 1, seen heading north. Following along behind is OHE's Class 206 diesel, number 1223101. Sixteen of these Class 445 units have been ordered by ODEG. Set number 2 is seen leaving the station bound for Cottbus. We chose 3 locations around Berlin which offer some of the best filming vantage points. Saarmund is a regular location for us, whilst Birkfelder is new, and Schoenfleiss is one we visited around 10 years ago. We begin at Saarmund, where engineering work to the east of the station meant single line working. The date is still Sunday the 7th of July. 442321 is an unusual visitor seen on a driver training run. Normally the 5-car sets don't usually operate on this line, which is dominated by freight traffic. Following along behind is 185-185 on a westbound DB Schenker intermodal working. With the engineering work taking out one of the tracks, we were to see on average 3 freight trains per hour, plus the hourly local passenger service to and from Potsdam. (185-219) takes the platform road with this westbound container train. Another unusual visitor was this Class 120, hauling empty coaching stock. .185s dominated the proceedings, with almost all trains headed by the class. Number 185-148 heads this westbound car train. 185019 powers this train east. A rare visitor to these parts is this Class 218. Number 450 is seen heading west with a departmental working. The ranks of Class 155 electric locomotives are diminishing every month, with constant withdrawals taking place. Heading from the yard at Zadine with an early evening freight is 155159. The Class 145s were the predecessor of the more common dual voltage Class 185 and 189s. All are allocated to the Berlin area, but can be found in most parts of the country, particularly on the main freight routes. This is 145009. We are now at Birkfelde, on the northern part of the Berlin Außenring. This route is less busy for freight, but does see more in the way of passenger operations. It is also on line S1 of the Berlin S-Bahn, where we see a pair of Class 481 units on a service to Oranienburg. Class 112 electrics work the 2 hourly Holzdorf to Stralsund services. 112-114 brings up the rear of this northbound train. Every hour you can see Class 648 Lint 41 diesel units on services to and from Templin. We now move slightly south and to the station at Schoenfleiss, where we see 112-102 heading a train for Stralsund. Finally in this section we see 186237 heading south with loaded bogie tanks. The locomotive is currently operating with LTE cargo and was built by Bombardier in Kassel in 2009.